Before we even get to this card, we'll have to survive this Mike Tyson, Jake Paul Netflix fight. Are you ready for this, Luke? Are you ready to see what this? Are you going to? Obviously, you'll watch it live, but are you ready to witness whatever this is going to be happen before this fight
Yeah,
even happens? Yeah,
I know. We're going from Jake Paul, the king of sandbagging, to John Jones being like, I don't want to fight the number one contender and also the interim champion. Like, wow, combat sports is in a great place. Listen, I've seen Jake Paul's operation up close. I think as a promotional entity and as somebody doing something where like, I'm not going to fight good guys, but I'm going to fight old good guys with great name value. And I'm going to use that to enrich myself. And I'm going to especially do it off the back of MMA fighters who are underpaid. And now I'm going to give them the biggest payday of their lives or pretty close to it. Is like, I got to be honest, I do find that to be a fucking stroke of genius. It's very, very clever what he has done for himself. And, you know, everyone's like, oh, I hate Jake Paul. He doesn't care. Trust me when I tell you he doesn't care. So like all of that, I actually kind of admire. But then when you get down to it and you just watch these fights, you know, maybe less so in the first Woodley fight. And then the second Woodley fight sucked. But since then, I mean, this is not totally true either because of he lost to Tommy Fury. But up to this point, you know, when you look at what he did against Anderson Silva and then Nate and then Mike Perry and then the two boxing, Andre August and whoever the other guy was, it's just sandbagging. It's just sandbagging, right? It's just going in there and being like, I'm going to take on a guy that you guys hate me, you like him. And, or in the case of the boxers, they were just terrible. But in the case of the promotional talent, you know, you guys like him, you don't like me, you want me to lose, you want him to win, but I'm going to pick opponents that basically have no chance of doing this. And I'm just going to beat up on them and you're going to watch them suffer along the way. And then I'm going to just enrich myself. Like on a promotional side, it's like totally genius. And then as a sporting thing, like as a sport, when you watch it, it's pathetic. It's like ridiculous. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I have total respect for what he has done as a P.T. Barnum carnival barker. It's genius on that. It's so weird because it's really very clever. But the actual thing itself, the product itself, not the pomp and circumstance, but once the bell rings, he's the king of sandbagging. And there's no joy in watching bad boxing against one guy who's like all right at it and a dude who's old and now, or, you know, in the case of Mike Perry, not old, but from a technique standpoint, very much overmatched. Like, what is the appeal? And here's the thing. Casual fans all think Mike Tyson has a much greater chance than any insider does. And I hope to, I may never say these words again to you, Dennis. I may never say them again. I hope the casual fans are right. I really do. I hope that they know something that the jaded and jaundiced insiders don't, because that would be fantastic. But my hunch is that Jake stays a step ahead of the game for a reason.
Do you think it's going to be one of those ones where it's like, hey, let me keep Tyson in here for a couple of rounds. Let's kind of carry this through a bit and let's just kind of give a bit of a show or like a little bit of an exhibition-y feel, maybe let him sort of get a couple of punches in? Or do you think it's going to be a situation where once the bell rings, Jake just goes out there and tries to demolish Tyson?
I don't think he tries. I think Jake. So this is the thing. Showtime one time asked me, they were like, hey, would you look at tape on Jake Paul and then do like review it and like say what you see? And I was like, I'm going to get killed on the internet for it, but all right, I'll do it. You know? So I did it. I actually learned a lot. I'm in retrospect, I'm actually quite glad I did that. So, and this is true to this day. Some of the stuff I saw is not true. Like he used to cross his feet really badly. Yeah. He doesn't do that nearly as much anymore. He's cleaned up a lot of the footwork. I'm not telling you he's Lomachenko, but he's cleaned it up. However, two things have really stuck out to me, and I'll give you a great example that kind of encapsulates both. One of his favorite punches is the overhand right. And you can say a lot about Jake Paul, but one thing you really have to give him is he can punch. He's a puncher. Like, I'll give him that. When he throws the overhand right, particularly as the rounds go on and he either gets under pressure or frustration or he's out of ideas, when he throws it, he looks straight down. He looks straight down. He'll do this all the time. You can go to any of his fights, including up until not in the Mike Perry fight. He did it in the Mike Perry fight too. It is a very bad habit. And the reason why he has that habit is partly because, he's not that good. He started late or whatever. But the real reason is he doesn't like contact. He is very, very afraid of contact. He wants to fight on his terms at all times. And you might say, like, well, don't all boxers do that? Right. But this is where we go back to like Nogueira. People say, oh, he doesn't like to get hit. And we're like, well, no one likes to get hit. Right. But some fighters lose their composure when they get hit and others don't. He does. He loses his composure. So I don't think he's going to be doing that. In fact, what I think is probably going to be something of the opposite, unless Tyson is like totally available to be hit, which could be. I think he's going to be a lot of clinching. I think he's going to be clinching and wearing on him and pulling on him and tiring him out, and then go into the body and then pulling on him, making him carry his weight the whole time that he can and make the referee intervene. Now, remember, it's only 2-minute rounds, so some of this will be limited, but you can go see it on YouTube. It's a pirated version, but go look at Roy Jones Jr. and Tyson. Roy was holding on for dear life. Now, in part because, Mike was kind of giving it to him a little bit, but there is a lot in that game plan that I think that Jake Paul is going to take. He does not respond well. He does not have good composure under fire. And I don't think he's going to try and just blitz with a guy who's probably going to blitz with him. I think he's going to try and bleed that guy out a little bit and see how it goes.